crazy man is rising in the polls because he promises everything to everyone. What would you say to my audience about Bernie Sanders, and how would you overcome the hordes of poor and immigrants who hate the rich?
Well, I think what's happening with Bernie Sanders, he's probably a communist. He wants to make your taxes at 90%. He wants to give everything away, but he's not giving anything away. He's going to destroy the fabric of what we are, and ultimately everyone's going to pay the biggest price of all. But, you're talking about even Hillary Clinton, I noticed the other day, was saying, you can't pay for this. We're going to have to double taxes. I mean, you would literally have to double, triple, quadruple taxes if you were going to do the kind of crazy things that he wants to do. So probably he's not going to make it. It's hard to believe that he's going to make it. If he did make it into the election, I think I'd be very happy if I were the one, on the other side. I just can't believe that this country is ready for socialism or communism, because it's pretty close to communism, some of the things he wants to do.
I've said that I pray he wins. In fact, I may support his campaign, because if it was capitalism, Donald Trump, versus communism, Bernie Sanders, let's call it like it is, it's an 85-15 victory for you. Be the greatest landslide in history. The last question of this series, and I know you're super busy, and I know how important it is for me and my listeners that you came on the show today, going into the primaries on Saturday. And it's a tough question for me, but I've had people call me and say, I don't like Donald Trump, he's a bully. And when I say to them, we need a tough negotiator to beat our enemies. Americans have been wimped down and think we need a nice guy like Mr. Rogers in the Oval Office. Mr. Trump, how will you appeal to all of these brainwashed fools who thinks that we need a wimp in the White House?
Well, I think I'm a nice person. I've always tried to be a nice person. But, I really don't believe that this election is going to be about niceness. I think it's going to be about competence. We have had incompetent leadership for so many years right now. Getting us into the war was terrible, and Bush did that. Getting us out of the war was horrible the way he did it. He didn't have any idea how to do it, and the way he did it was terrible. I've always said, take the oil, keep the oil. And, only now did they start hitting the oil. I said doing it on your show 4 years ago, I was talking about it, and they just started. We now need a toughness and we need a competence, or we're not going to have a country left. Everything is going bad. You look at trade with China. You look at the fact that we have no borders. Mexico is ripping us off. China is ripping us off. Japan is ripping us off. We don't win anymore, and we're going to win a lot. If I get it, if I am able to get it, and, my theme is Make America Great Again. Michael, we are going to start winning again so much, and that's what we have to do.
I agree. We don't need a nice Mr. Rogers in the White House. We'll be run over. We'll be nothing left of this nation. 4 more years of this insanity. Secondly, behind the scenes of nice guys, as you probably well know from business, there's usually a knife in his hand, which he's holding behind his back to put it in our backs first. I don't believe in nice guys. And, Donald, many conservative pundits and leaders, and particularly the losers at the so-called National Review, which is 100,000 maybe maximum, 10,000 readers, have said they will not support you. How can you turn these individuals around and convince them to vote for you when you win the primary? Many of them are so foolish that they say do you know that Glenn Beck said that he'd rather support Bernie Sanders than Donald Trump? You know what I said about him yesterday, Donald?
What?
I said I didn't know that Preparation H crosses the blood-brain barrier that quickly, because that's the only explanation for Glenn Beck's statements lately. But how do you turn these people around?
I don't know. Glenn Beck is a failing guy, just like the magazine is failing. The magazine is really failing. I don't think it's going to be in business much longer, but everyone knows it's got very little influence, and they got some publicity. Glenn Beck, he years ago with John McCain, do you remember he said he will support Hillary Clinton over John McCain? He wanted to support Hillary Clinton over John McCain. So, Glenn Beck is, every time I watch him, he's crying. He's like a mess. He's got a lot of problems. He's like a total mess. But I would say this. Those people, and many people are coming over now, Michael, that you wouldn't even believe. Everybody wants to come over. They see the poll numbers. They see what's going on. We have a movement. We're having 25,000 people and 35,000 people show up to events. And we have a movement that's taking our country back. And we're going to straighten out the country. We're going to take it back. And it's going to be so good, and we're going to all be proud of it. I mean, everybody's going to be proud of it. But a lot of the people that you're talking about, and a lot of people that you least suspect are calling now. They want to come over to our side, and I think I'm going to unify the party, because our party is badly divided. Our country is divided, and even the Republican Party is divided. So I think we have a chance to really take our country back and also strengthen our party.
Well, Mr. Stone has put out an email today saying that the Republicans are conspiring